Yo, what's up? The RTG podcast. It's KO. Ray. We're here again with another Red Pill review. We're
Kind of pretty with those glasses and shit.
yeah,
Big
it's
ass
kind of
eyebrows.
pretty.
That's cool.
Let's hear
Racist shit.
the crazy things to come out of her mouth. I don't know. She's probably some type of Armenian or
That's
something. This is who we're talking about. We'll get you guys to view. About to watch Just Pearly Things. But before we get to that, we've been away for like 2 weeks, and I just wanted to let you guys know that longer than that, maybe 3.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Dang, I smoke weed. So we've been away for like 3 weeks. Thank you for sticking in there with us. We're doing some adjustment. We're trying to we move spaces, as you can see. We're trying to get everybody over here, but people's schedules got to line up and everything. Hopefully, they do come. That's a message. But good to see you guys. Thank you for joining us on another Friday as we critique modern dating again. How's your week been?
I might say his name. That's what I think. But yeah.
Wait, let me. Oh, okay.
I've been playing Kao and for like the past week or so on 2K. I had long conversations with him too. It's about life and shit and everything that's happened and all that.
Okay.
Man, my week has been insane. Like we talked about earlier. Like
Yeah.
but you know, it is what it is. We're here and moving forward, I guess you can say.
Yes. Because
Getting ready to go to Miami next weekend though. That's about to be insane, most likely. But you know, just living life. Get ready to get the fuck up out of here.
preparing for his move. He's moving to Texas. We're in California, for those who didn't know. But
LA to be exact.
LA.
Well, you know,
We're in the valley.
Yeah.
Basically, there's a large amount of California that's LA. Yeah. But yeah, my week has been not hard, but I have been getting home very late. So that's why I have not posted any KO's 2 cents or anything on our YouTube channel. Just been swamped with family and business. So I'm trying. Hold in, stick in there, please, and give us a like and subscribe if you like the content. No, without further ado, let's watch. Let's see what Just Pearly Things has to say about the reality.
Historically, like the fathers have been involved. Let's keep picking that. We do. I like it. I'm saying I'm better than anyone. Like it's always better to ask your dad or your brothers about it. I'm sorry, we're not good in general.
But my issue is that people
All
think
right,
that people
let's pause it right there. Let's talk about that. I what do you think? Well, I feel like y'all already know our opinions on that, but I do think that women are the best at picking men sometimes, and that I think what she's getting at is that women should seek a second opinion on their guy.
Do we talk about that already?
Yeah.
Because back in the day, they used to, the fathers used to set up marriages and all that kind of stuff. Well, it's still in cultures, they still do that.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. And it's for that reason. It's like let the dad evaluate the guy because you are in love with the guy and you're not gonna see. Or I feel like in those cultures, it's like they kind of they choose different guys and they kind of like audition them.
Mm-hmm.
to be traumatized and regurgitate their childhood in their relationship. I don't think it's women who suck. If men didn't suck, they wouldn't have so many problems with women.
I think it's modern women. A lot of men move and don't have these problems. I think a guy he moved from America to Brazil.
Some problems that you can't say women because if men didn't suck at selecting women, they wouldn't have.
Selectors, women are the selectors. So it doesn't, like you just said, when it comes to dating, women are selectors. They're the ones who are going to decide if the guys sleep with them or don't. So they are the selectors. It's not like we believe it.
Because what if you get married?
Right.
So if divorces are high, what does that tell you? Are men selecting value or women are selecting value? Men decide marriage.
But women are leaving the marriages, so they're making the decision.
So
The men will say,
the vetting process has to come from the man.
yeah, but not the
from both.
Sorry.
Let me give me a 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna connect it to the speaker so we can hear it better in here. There'll be a skip.
She said women aren't the selectors. I don't agree with that. That can't be right.
That's not right.
Okay.
Women decide who gets access to the punk, and men decide what women get access to relationships. That's how we're the selectors, because we decide if the relationship moves forward. You know what I mean? Like they do too, but not really, because they want the relationship. We are like, we kind of like you could take it or leave it. You know, guys can kind of play a
What time
different
do you
game.
think we'll finish today?
Oh, we finished at 11. Yeah, this is 30-minute video, 17-minute video. Just gonna give our opinions on this. Get on the body. Now, let's see. My Bluetooth speaker shows up. Please, God, please, please. Hey.
Oh my god. Oh. This is the reaction to the
Women, the men aren't divorcing women, the women are divorcing men, like you said, and that is their decision to remove themselves from a situation where they've got everything they can from the marriage, and it's usually based on how they feel about the man. That doesn't mean that they're selecting; that's deselecting after they have everything.
Who selected that woman?
No, I mean,
But what you think? So, hold on a second. If you select a woman, you're saying the issue is that he's made a bad selection, and that's why she's divorced him. No. I said you said that who selected the woman in the first place? That woman who's now divorced him. So you're saying that because he's picked a bad woman in the beginning, who's who's going to divorce him eventually, it's his fault. Is that what you're saying? Or
Yes, if we're saying that, it's like
no, not both sides. I'm asking directly that particular situation.
I kind of agree with her though. I kind of agree. Like if she's a writer, but it's like it's hard for you to know this until you get into the situation.
Yeah.
But if she's a writer, then she should stay, and she should like when things get hard, she should stay. And but you before you get married to her, you should kind of test that and know that she's that type of person. That should be part of the reason why you want to marry her, because you're like, all right, you are down with us with this relationship. You're not looking for the door. But I feel like in some way a lot of modern women are they enter relationships looking for the door. But like the second you do something that they don't like, if they're hot, if they're attractive,
what is that we was talking about on Twitter? I gotta find it.
yes. Oh my god, I'm so glad you said that. I can pull up Twitter right now. But I'm not logged into Twitter on this computer. But yes, I'll put it in later. I'll put it in later, but we'll read it right now and I'll put it in later in post.
Most women don't date up; they sleep up and date down.
Yes. Most women don't date down. They date down and then they sleep up. You know, they sleep with the guys who they who, to the with the rich guys or whoever they,
Truly won't.
whoever they want, but that they don't really want them, but I feel like a lot of women get the game messed up because it's like just because you have access to a rich guy and a rich guy sleeps with you doesn't mean that you won. That doesn't mean that's not a W in the long run because he hasn't chosen you. You didn't get the championship ring, so you just got used, really.
Yeah, I think a lot of girls settle and don't either want to admit it or realize that they did. In a sense, I mean, comparing to what they're accustomed to dating to what they're married to now, they're complete opposites, and I think that's based off of them not really getting what they really wanted and realizing that they just won't get it from that said person or that group of people, whatever, and they settle for somebody who just gonna take care of them. I guess you could say.
Yeah, they because they're beautiful when they're younger, they kind of spend that time
Getting clout.
just using their power, using the power of beauty to try to get the guy that they want. But they don't understand that for a guy, you have to bring more to the table than just how pretty you are for us to want to keep you around.
Some guys, some guys really don't give a fuck.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're cooperative and you're just pretty, that's cool. Like a guy will be cool with that, but if you're just pretty and you're combative and you're like a pain, eventually that guy's gonna want to get away from you, or he's just gonna cheat.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what usually happens. Guys get girls who think they're one way and later on they find out they're another, and then they realize that they're stuck. So at that point, what else you gonna do? Get divorced and she get half your shit. But then, or you try to secretly cheat every now and then, I guess.
Yeah.
To try to find some type of piece of happiness in the midst of your depressed ass life, I guess. But it is what it is. Do what you do.
It be that way, man. Dudes don't be picking for long term a lot of times. They just pick with their eyes, but not with their heart. They're not with their conscience. Or they pick with their penis.
Wait, hold on. If men and women get divorced and women, so I'm just trying to understand, and women initiate this divorce, that's the man's fault because they selected it. Is that right?
It's not the man's fault. The women are paid to leave. If you pay someone to do, like, men have no say in that. Man, that's why I said it's the
They're
West.
right, but I feel like we need to calm down a little bit. It's like I feel like it's like 3-on-1 right now. I would be like trying to see it from her point of view just to give her a little help. Like, okay, so what you're telling me is, let me try to reframe what you're saying in a way that I'm hearing it.
Move. They don't have these problems. Where else in the world are men moving to get different wives because the women are so bad? Thing to a whole new country.
You think of it like
So
you think that you
Not
have
in
an
the
happy
dating
marriage
market,
in
but
America,
I don't
why
know.
not have the
I
wife?
kind of feel like some of the red pill people exaggerate how bad the dating market is right now.
I mean, it's really not that great.
Okay. Well, this is coming from a person in it, so give your opinion.
Opinion is not that great. All right.
I feel like
It's an expression. Hold on.
I feel like if I'm out there, let me see, if I was single right now, I would just my strategies would be impeccable on who I go after and who I spend my time with. And if I'm dating around, right, and I meet girls who are not on my level, as soon as they show me that they are not on my level or they are not on the same page as me, I'm moving on. The older I get, the shorter amount of time I'm gonna give you.
That's me right now. I've really realized the lack of patience I have with.
I was like this. The
That's
moment
crazy.
I feel like you're on some bull, I'm too old for that now. So I'm gonna just move on, or I'm gonna get what I want and then move on,
No, I don't even care about that.
because they're giving it up. I feel like that's kind of what's tainting the dating market
Fuck
is
that.
the
You can
looseness.
keep it. You can keep it.
They're giving it away. So
It's
I
not
don't.
worth the headache.
I understand why guys are taking it because they're giving free samples.
It's not worth the headache.
I agree. I agree. I think it's better to date one girl who is got her head on straight
Yes.
than to
That's the
mess with
problem. You
hoes
gotta find
because.
that one.
But I feel like that's the fun of the hunt. That's the
it's
fun
not.
of the chase.
No, it's not.
It was fun
No,
for
it's
me
not.
when I was single and I was talking to girls and I was dating girls. It was fun.
It's a pain in my
It
ass.
was fun to talk to them.
Makes my head
It was
hurt.
fun to get to know them.
Makes my
It was
balls
fun
itch.
to take them on dates and stuff.
I
I
mean,
like that type
if
of
they
shit.
like, if you can get to that point, you gotta get to that point first.
Uh-huh.
Like they finding a chick who isn't wasting their fucking time, thing like that.
Well, I feel like there's some fundamental aspects to women that you got to understand before, like, so you won't be like so put off by them. You got to understand that they're a little crazy,
I get that.
the majority of them. So when you meet one who's pretty and she's got like 7 of the 10 things that you would want in a girl,
Yes.
and then but she's like slightly crazy,
That's supposed to
you got to understand that the grass is not greener on the
Yeah,
other
I
side.
get that point.
It just gets crazier on the other
Yeah.
side.
You also are allowed to figure out whether those 7 things you're willing, the 7 out of 10 things you're willing to deal with. Like everybody got different measurements of what they're willing to and not willing to put up with for the rest of their life.
I agree, but you also got to understand that you're dealing with a person, and they can change, they can become better, or they can become worse. So like that's what the dating part of that is for, is to learn what type of person this is and whether or not they got their head on straight enough to where they can become better, or if they're going to become worse. But on some level, it's like you can't you can only date for so long, and you're only going to learn so much about the person before you can just kind of pull the trigger. You gotta.
You gotta wait until they really become who they really are too.
But as time goes on, they're gonna become depending on different factors, you could sway how they become a person or become a different person or whatever. So like there's a bunch of factors that are influencing how a person turns out. So you could meet a girl who she has all these feminist ideas or whatever, but she loves you so much that she sees it from your point of view, and she learns that yeah, guys actually do have it kind of hard in the world or whatever. She's more sympathetic to your plight. You know, think we affect people. We affect each other more than we think. I think that's why I like podcasts like this, because it's shining it's showing it's putting a mirror on women and showing them their craziness, and showing guys their craziness too. But I do think that there's a negative aspect to that, and it's making, like, when I watch too much red pill content, I feel like, I don't know, I start to like not like women. I'm like, because it's like it just over and over shows you the delusion of women. You get me? Over and over, it just shows you like every different type of women that come on this show. They all look different, like white women, black women, big women, small women, skinny women. All of them kind of have a similar idea of, like, dating and men. And it's like they really don't know what men want. They don't know how to get a
But
man.
then we talked about that. We don't really think they really care.
They don't care. They don't care because in society they're like low key royalty. They don't have to care. It's like no matter what, the guys are gonna come for them, so they can do whatever. But that's not true. It's like, yeah, the guy will have sex with you. But is he picking you? Did you get the championship ring? No.
Can you move in?
Did you get the key to his place?
You get a drawer?
Are you on the lease?
You guys.
I know you won't give that question to him.
I'm glad you gave that question to me because even though my wife's Western or whatever, but she was born in Egypt, and so she's been here from when she was young. So her values are instilled from when she was younger in the country that she was born at. So her Western art, she hasn't.
Me and him kind of are similar, because my wife is not from California. My wife is from Illinois, and a lot of the
You got lucky.
she's from Chicago. Yeah, a lot of the girls who I talk to who are California native were rotten to the core. Okay, rotten, just pathological, like
And
pretty,
it's good to get,
pretty as hell.
and it's good that these people are from here too.
Yes, because it's similar over in England. They're in
Yeah.
England.
You get different perspectives on different countries' lifestyles.
It's similar. It's all around the world is similar, except for like in like Middle East and shit. They're dealing with a whole different.
Oh shit, because it looks like she's really pretty, but apparently
Yeah.
she her mind is kind of fucked up.
They're all. I don't want to say all, but the majority of women think with their emotions.
I didn't say that.
So they're kind of crazy, like to us, because we don't think with our emotions. As a man, you can't do that, because look at these guys. Look at how buff these guys are. Okay, if their emotions get out of control,
They
and
don't get it.
somebody could die in that room.
Yeah.
So we have to keep our emotions in control. Yeah. And we learn that from a young age. But women kind of learn the opposite. It's like, but at the same time, it's like it's okay for them to be emotional. I like that they're emotional, and they kind of help us get in touch with our emotions.
For the same level of Western ideals. And I've always been like that. I've always been with women who align with my morals and values. And most of them women are either their parents are either first generation, or they've been born there or they've been born here, but their parents have always been first generation, and and been in a successful, happy couple, and that's always played a huge part into the selection process.
Do you think then you made a good selection?
100%.
So do you think selection matters when men are choosing women to marry?
Yes.
You know,
Of course,
it's more than just a
selection is part
like
of it.
every night. It's a chance.
That was it.
But we can agree.
But I'm not disputing it. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying that if they've selected someone, no one, if you selected someone, that is the best person that you could select
Yeah.
based on yourself, the time, the
Yeah.
options. Exactly.
The original question was about selecting a partner. He didn't. The original question wasn't about selecting them like long-term marriage.
It was about marriage. It was about
I think he was
like
asking.
if the girls are, because he brought up divorce. She said if the girls are divorcing, then it must be the guy who's picking the wrong women. And then he said, I don't know. He said what he just said.
No, I thought he was talking about just having a sexual partner. Yeah, that's what it is.
No, I think they were talking about marriage. Because he was saying the women leave most of the time. That's the statistic. Like black, I know about the black statistics. Can't really remember the other ones. I don't think other races are are similar to us, like other than Hispanic people. But in black marriages, like 80% of the divorces are initiated by women, by the women. So it's not the men who are breaking up the marriages. So, but I mean, that doesn't say anything for their reasoning. They could have valid reasoning, which for me, being Christian, the only reason why you should divorce somebody is if they cheat, you know. But even then, like if there's kids involved, you gotta work it out, man. You got an obligation to those kids to work it out. You can't just throw that away because you're destroying something in the eyes of the kids. That
She did it first, so good luck.
I get it. I get it. I'm not saying it will be easy. I'm just saying it has to be done. It's not for
I'm
you.
putting myself in that situation. Let's put it that way.
I would never hope that situation on anyone. So you'll never be in that situation. Your marriage is gonna be strong and it's gonna last ever.
But women change based on how they feel. So if they feel differently, things can change up. That's why you should never base your decisions as a man on how she feels. Because if let's say you made a decision on how you felt and I went along with it, and now your decision changed, the accountability isn't going to lie with you. It's going to lie with me.
Yeah.
Because I should have been man enough to turn around and be like, no, that's great. That's how you feel now, but that's not the plan.
The video that went quite big, and the main thing I said is
I think emotion. I'm gonna finish and let her say what she got to say, but I think emotion. It should kind of go into your decision making in a way, and that's what your woman is for. Your woman helps you, like, kind of see that you're being a barbarian about things. Like, babe, do you really need to be that aggressive about this or whatever? Your woman will kind of level you out. You know, and I feel like women who don't provide that for their men, or who are like nagging their man all the time, they're not they're not achieving their purpose. They should be kind of helping to regulate the guy's emotions and kind of helping him to get in touch with his more caring side. So as a guy, it's not easy, but it's easier for us to get in touch with the masculine, for us to be like, I will whoop your ass or whatever. That's closer to our surface than the love part of us. And I feel like that's what religion and that's what women do to us. They kind of soften us up and make us less barbarian, you know, because niggas who don't believe in love be vicious. They'll kill you. They don't care, right? You're nothing to them.
Men should always marry a woman that loves them more than they love them.
I agree.
And because that's part of the selection process. If she doesn't love you, when men they stay loyal to the cause, they can they stay in a marriage that they're not madly in love with because they see the bigger picture. For women, they can't stay loyal to the cause, so it's always important that you pick a woman that loves you more than you love her.
And you know what? This goes across other things as well.
I agree with that. I agree with that too.
I kind of agree with that because I don't know. I don't think she should love you more than you love her, but she should be very like not very, but she should be interested in you. She should be really interested in you. If she's not interested in you, that's just telling you that she's more. She has something else is like captivating her interest. You know, she should be in love with you. She should love you. You know,
Like
it's
an admiration.
yeah. She should admire you. She should kind of look up to you.
I think we're sometimes, perceived as, oh, we're not law, we're scumbags, etc., etc. There's
That goes back to when we were talking about she looking for her leader, sort of thing. You're supposed to like a team captain, so to speak, in a relationship.
Yes, she's looking for a rock. She wants to be able to be emotional, you know, and she can't fully be emotional if you're being emotional. she's, she's gonna be in her
Taking up
masculine.
all the emotion, my
You're
boy.
sucking up all the emotion out of the room, my guy. You're supposed to be stoic. Women like stoicism.
Stop being a bitch. Come on.
young boys dying in the street because of loyalty to their friends. And that doesn't go, that goes to that, and it also goes into love of a woman. So if our loyalty is not the issue, any man of like integrity and loyalty, and other men recognize, going back to the high value or the alpha, or however you want to describe it, these are the kind of key traits. It's not always just about money, loyalty, integrity. These are the things that men judge other men.
Being faithful as well and loyal to the cause, like sticking with that woman, even if it's not the same as being faithful. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean the same thing. Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna go to the same barber for like 15 years.
Yeah, there you go. So nice. Yeah.
So what was the next thing you said?
Women can't. What was the other things that you were saying? Women think with their feelings, so they always say things like "fuck your feelings." But my argument is, if we know women are designed to have more emotional intelligence, we produce more estrogen, we produce more oxytocin. We actually, by design, more emotional. Why would that be an insult?
I agree with her, but I don't. The term emotional intelligence is kind of weird to me. It's kind of weird.
Why?
It's like saying
Because they shouldn't describe it as intelligence. I would just describe it as you're more in touch with your emotions. I don't know. You're more integrated as a person. I wouldn't call it intelligence, but it does take work. So it is kind of like intelligence, but it's not. It's not because you could be like not the smartest person, but you're like, you know, you have empathy. You can cut through people. You can get to them. Like I don't think I'm the smartest person, but I'm good at talking from the heart and getting to people. You know,
I don't think I'm very good.
I'm pretty good.
I don't have the patience. That's my problem.
That's what our friend said to us when I went over to his house to talk to him about the pod. He said, I don't understand how you're. He said, I gotta have some kids because you're really patient. I was like, no, don't do that. Learn to get the patience first, brother.
oh, you're disabled, fuck your legs. Like, no, you're designed that way. Why is that used as an insult to women?
I mean, I think he's just talking about like a lot of times women think their feelings are reality. So girls on the show will come on the show and say this is how the world is because of how I feel, basically.
But that is her reality because that's how she's designed by biology.
But that's not what's true. So for example, we could talk about the pay gap. Women could feel like we make less than men, but he would say something like "fuck your feeling."
Yeah.
And so that's the context that he's using it.
In that context, it makes sense because this page gap is just not true. But in general, we have innate mechanisms to make us feel more anxious than a situation is. That's why we're mothers. Why we're so good at being mothers is because we sense danger when it's not there. We think our baby's being left alone, or we've got to go right, and we're designed by that. And if we weren't, but we were governed by our feelings, we'd both be like, okay, baby's asleep, don't need to check on it. But biologically, we're designed to be more feeling based. It's what makes women beautiful. It's not an insult, and he uses it as an insult.
I don't think he's using it as an insult. I think he's
think both of them are right. I don't know who they're talking about, but I think if the person is saying
What? What do you guys talk about that Andrew Tate thing? Because
do we know about Andrew Tate?
it came out that some of that shit that he is going to judge something.
Oh. No, I thought they just let him out. You've not been paying attention
Exactly.
to Andrew Tate.
I think you gotta look into that.
It was true.
So I think that's what it is.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen like at a glance that some women came out and they like some of his exes were saying that nothing happened or he's innocent or like some women. I didn't even see who they were. I didn't validate who they were or anything. I just was like, I'm kind of over Andrew Tate. Like, and
No, I
his
just
drama.
remember we talked about it last time, and we didn't have no real like
Information.
so to speak. Yeah, but there's been more information out.
Dang, I wish I had done my research on that because I could have more to say about it, but I don't know. I'm gonna Andrew Tate it out. But even though I kind of like some of his messaging. Let me say that. I like some of what he talks about, but I feel like he says something, he goes overboard. He says some things that are like, all right, you're giving them ammo to get you now. It's like I can't. I, like I agree 100% on some of the stuff he said, and then he says he'll go and say something that's crazy. Like right, but you know he's right about the other things. He's still right. He's still right. So I can give you that.
Man, what am I gonna do?
All right, let's finish this. Let's see what you've done, man.
just saying it doesn't work in a debate when you're talking about
But it
topics.
works in a discourse if you're going to communicate to women and men are going to communicate with women. That if they don't recognize that women exercise feelings and women don't recognize men exercise logic, they'll never be compatible.
I mean,
You have to cannot handle
I
it.
think
A
he
lot of
knows
pretty
that when
light-skinned women in England, I think. Like I've seen that on these videos, like a lot of pretty light-skinned women, like and they English.
the next week. But okay, like this is an example of you as a woman telling men how they need to talk to us. And it's like
Based on our biology.
you're trying to dictate like how men need to say things, but that's not how men do things.
But if I know that
Men talk how they talk.
Agree with the pretty girl, I think. I agree with both of them, but I think that
She's trying to say that we shouldn't dilute how we talk to women. I think that's what she's trying to say, and
I think she's talking about in terms of a debate. Like if you're having like a heated conversation with a woman, that a guy is not gonna he's not gonna care about your feelings. He's gonna come with the facts, with the statistics. He's gonna say this is the truth. That's a lie. But what she's saying is, what the pretty girl is saying is, if we really want to get through to the girl, you gotta kind of use emotion. You gotta use, I think it's ethos. There's logos, pathos, and ethos.
where is that terminology coming from?
It's from Greek, I think. And then logos represents logic, and it represents masculine. Ethos represents ethics, I believe, or I think it might represent emotion. Pathos, one of them represents the one of those two things I just said. I can't remember which one is which, but they're all like ways that you can they're ways of conversation that you can use to persuade someone. Like I could try to use logic to persuade you that you should get married, or I could use emotion to try to persuade you to get married, or I could use um ethics. I could go you should get married because it's ethically right or whatever. You know, there's different ways to influence a person depending on their sex.
talk.
Mhm.
And so it's like, why would I go to a man and say you have to talk like a woman? Like you're feminizing.
If I'm a man, and if I've got a son as well, I know I have to speak to him from a place of logic for him to understand it. He won't understand if I talk to him entirely emotionally.
Yep,
If you come
she's
to me
right.
as a man with a problem, I will say, Vin, Nathaniel talk all the time, and I'll give him practical advice because he's a man, and I speak his language. He will give me more emotional advice because he recognizes I'm a woman.
Yeah.
That's how we have intelligent discourse. He does really
Yeah. That seems right. That seems
But you can do both because you have both inside you. You have estrogen and testosterone
You
inside you.
definitely can do both.
So you
kind of
can-
have to do both because
As a human being, you have to do both. You have to be able to give your argument with logic,
Yeah.
but at the same time, emotion. You have to kind of speak to their humanity, kind of try to let them down easy. You don't have to be like, you're stupid, or you don't have to be like blunt and just, you don't care about their feelings. Fuck your feelings. That's not right, bro. Her feelings do matter, even if they're misfiring. You have to be realistic about the fact that she's a human being. So, hey, no, babe, you're wrong about that. We should go here.
But if you're not used to interacting with women on that type of level, then you just won't get it.
Yeah.
Luckily, you was raised around a lot of women and like have sisters and stuff like that. So you just kind of just it's just something you just learn over time and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, any guy that's being observant can see that we're just not the
And having an
same.
emotional mother.
We're not built the same. Women, their emotions are on their sleeves. Us, our emotions are deep down inside usually. You can't really, you could tell that something's wrong with us, but we're not gonna just blurt it out.
Yeah.
A woman will, you're gonna tell that something's wrong with her. She's gonna want to let you know, and she's gonna show it with her body language, you know. And as a
learning how to
man,
deal with that, it's something else too.
you gotta kind of break the ice. You gotta be like, babe, what's wrong? You know. And that's part of the emotional aspect of the argument. You being able to see that her emotions are out of whack and trying to help her get her emotions in check. You know, that's where you come in with the logic. And sometimes she's gonna see that your emotions are stopped up, constipated inside you. She's gonna go, babe, what's wrong? You know, and then you can let her know, like, I didn't like that or whatever it is. And then you can work through your emotions. But if you keep them inside, they just turn into cancer. You know, you just fucking die.
God damn.
not overall, no, but not overall. That's
Yeah,
your
okay.
experience.
Yeah,
That's your
that's-
experience. Like, it's exactly what you're there.
I have this problem, and this isn't a you thing. It's just like a thing. I hate it when people come on and tell me how to talk on my podcast. It's like if you were so good at it, then you would do it and you would make it bigger. And so it's like, how are you going to go to them and say, "Oh, I know how to talk"? When it's like,
and you don't have to.
not,
It's
not
just that,
me,
yeah.
not I'm talking about in this example
Yeah.
for Fresh and Fit.
Yeah, fresh and
Because I've been in this situation where like a girl will say, I don't like the way like they'll be like, oh, I don't like the way she does this. I don't like this. I don't like whatever it is. And my first thought is like, how delusional are you? If you could do it better, you would.
Because it's not about doing it better, it's about offering an alternative perspective.
I agree with the light skinned woman. It's not about, and you remember the argument I was having with a friend of ours, and I was like, he was saying that he doesn't take advice from people. I'm like, man, you could take advice from almost not anybody, but there's gonna be knowledge or good wisdom that's gonna come from almost anybody. Like there's a saying, a broke clock is right twice a day. So it's like, yeah, you might not, the guy might be stupid most of the time, but if you just listen to him, he's eventually gonna say something that is edible. You know, it's like you get, and then if you like encourage that and you encourage him to be smarter, he might be hitting the nail more of the time. Ding, you know, but if you always, nah, you stupid or whatever, you know, I can't listen to you. You haven't done nothing. Then you're never gonna, he might say something that can help you, but you'll never see it, you know, because you got your head up your ass. You too arrogant.
It's tricky.
Yeah, you got to be able to take advice, even from people who you don't think you should be taking advice from. Look at both these niggas looking at their arm at the exact same time.
That's not great.
care to do it better than Marlon or
No,
Andrew.
but my
I
point,
care
my
to.
point is, my point is, they know what they're doing.
But
Because
have you
they're
not
feeling.
listened
I think
to
the girl's
or
saying that they're
read the
saying it
book
as an
Art Seduction?
insult.
They
No.
talk a little bit about this,
Okay.
right?
It's
Where
like
they say, let's say for instance,
critiquing somebody on something that you can't do, I guess, is the whole general aspect of that's
She's
her
right.
argument.
She's right, but she's wrong at the same time because I remember when I played football, my dad would like try to give me critiques about my game after the game, which is I don't think that's not the right time to do it, but he would try to tell me about it, and I would be like, "Dad, it's not as easy as it looks from the stands, you know. It's like you can't. It's not like just block the guy or whatever, or just juke the guy. It's not. It's not like that. It's like things have to happen.
Split instinct.
Yeah, you're when you're in the moment and you got the ball and you're running down the field. It's like yes, there was a plan from practice of a certain thing happening, but in the game, it might be totally different. Everything you're playing against a different team now. You're not playing against the practice squad or whatever, and that team is actually trying to get you with their full intent. You know, so but at the same time, like uh I don't know if the light skin girl saying this, but at the same time, my dad is right. I should listen to everything he has to say. And I did. I never really was like, don't tell me anything. I was just like, all right, dad. But I would listen. I would still take it as his advice and be like, all right, I need to run harder or whatever.
since my woman comes to me with a problem, yeah, I'm just going to give you a logical solution because that's what makes sense to me, right? When really it doesn't land, and I think why don't you just go? Why don't you quit your job then? It's making you unhappy. It's like you want to vent. You want me to show some empathy, that kind of vibe. When a woman comes to a man with the issue, it's the similar kind of thing because she's expecting something from him where it's like, why aren't you showing empathy, why aren't you understanding, but he's just thinking, I see the logic in this. It should be a quick, it's like algebra, we want it simplified straight away, and it's like that's kind of the disconnect. So it's quite rare, not rare, but it's nice where obviously when we have the conversation, like you kind of, I understand how you would need it received, and you understand how like I get it.
That's how we communicate, and that's how we have this friendship for so long. And that's what I want to teach people rather than women are this, men are that, because you don't learn how to use those skills to practically apply and create a healthy relationship. And if we have this platform, we should use the blessing of it to improve lives rather than divide people.
But they do improve lives. That's the thing. Like they do all this
Now,
They do.
people are now.
They do. Okay, they do. Okay. MGTOW is a whole nother. That's a whole nother group. Fresh and Fit aren't MGTOW. They do improvement for men. There's men that have called in on their show and said they didn't commit suicide. So they are helping men. MGTOW, those are men that are walking away until the laws change, and I understand that. Okay, they want to walk away from marriage and relationships until the laws change. I understand where they're coming from.
I get that, but it's not constructive to society. We want to create homes and we want to create two-parent households. Me watching a bunch of feminists or him watching a bunch of red pills, we are going to come back with negativity towards each other. Where
I don't know. I feel like the guys aren't coming with the negativity. We're not coming with the negativity, man,
In what aspect?
of relationships and dialogue.
Oh,
Like when I talk to women in public and when I see conversations happening and stuff, it's not the guy. Like we're trying to be as nice as possible. Like the women in society are like royalty compared to us. Like she could just straight up lie and say we did something and we're gonna go to jail, bro. Or our life is gonna be ruined. And most guys know that, and we act accordingly. We don't ruffle the feathers of anything. We're just like, hey, you want to go out? No, all right, leave me alone. Whatever, we just leave you alone. It's just like a small percentage of creeps who women focus on and be like, all men are that. It's like, no, most of us are trying to stay out of jail.
not be that red dot.
You feel me?
if we take those platforms and teach people how to communicate effectively and create a home, we are doing more of a service to society.
Can I
I disagree with that. So I think that
Whoa, where the hell you been?
No. But
The
I,
fuck?
I agree with the spirit of what the light skinned girl is saying, that we should be bringing people together and we should be creating homes. But I also agree with what Pearl was saying about the MGTOW guys who there's this group of guys who were saying that they're gonna not get married until like the divorce laws and the marriage laws are changed because right now it's like basically incentivizing women to divorce their man, you know. So I kind of get
That's
that.
because we talk about that because even after what I think it's like even after 10 years that prenup doesn't matter anymore, so she's getting that regardless.
So most of the laws lean in that direction of the woman gets hers, but the guy loses. But I think that the light skinned girl's strategy is better. You still got to get married. That doesn't mean that you just got to choose right. Just choose right. Choose right. But at the same time, understand that it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy, man. But anything that's worthwhile usually is hard. It's not going to be just kick back. You got to take care of your relationship like a plant or a pet.
Anything that just makes people chat and think it's good. And it would automatically come to like a good conclusion anyway.
I think that's the shrooms. No, I just think I think your points are extremely valid, but I think part of the issue is that we're told a lot, especially as men, to change our wording, change our dialect, change appealing to how women feel more so than we are about how men how men think. How I'm not talking about appearance. I'm talking about
You're
as
not
opposed to
changing your
saying,
appearance
like you
according to
said,
men
oh,
how men
men.
feel. You're doing it. Well, you are. You're trying to manipulate men with your appearance. I think.
Yeah, draw attention, I guess.
Yeah, you want to get the male gaze, but that's not. We're not making you do that. You're just doing that.
Approach things more logically. So it's more of a push towards understand her first before understanding him, which doesn't give the unity that you're after.
Yeah.
For example, I have 5 sisters. I have a lot of sisters, and my mum has to explain to them that I don't process things like they process things. If they get emotional about things, next week they'll be fine. The week after they'll be up again, and they're like, you're expecting him to jump on with your emotions. He doesn't think like that. It doesn't work like that. He's not built like that, and it's hard for them to understand. So it's hard for them to understand, and wherever I've been told to respect their feelings and understand they think differently as well. In the world, it's more that side of it. It's not like, okay, look, this guy's going to think differently from you. It's just more accommodate to her because she feels a certain. That's not what was. That's the divide there.
I agree and kind of disagree. I seen on Twitter, somebody was saying like there was like this video, this lady kind of getting aggro with a guy in a liquor store, and then another guy turns around and sees like the guy defend himself, but he didn't see the part where she was slapping him and shit, and he starts beating up the guy that was beating up the girl, and it's like, yeah, there's two sides to everything. There's two sides to every story. So, I feel like women's side in society is taken first. Like, like I said earlier, like even if a girl just accuses you of some shit, just the accusation would be enough to derail what you got going on. If you're somebody of note, or even if you just got a job, she can mess up your job. Off some he did this, and then it don't come out till years later that that's fake, or it might not come out at all. You might not have the evidence.
So we're opening, guys, go subscribe to the Wife School channel. It should be in the description. Get us to 1,000 subs, anyways. We're doing the Wife School, and I've been talking to different like wives and homemakers that are going to teach different like classes for us. It's gonna be fun. And one of them literally said she teaches women like fuck your feelings. It's not about your like this is something a homemaker of 30 years teaches women fuck your feelings. It does not matter how you feel.
Yeah.
And so it's like when the women say it, it's okay, but the men.
Yeah, no, I agree that you can't make decisions on emotions, but emotions can't be entirely ignored because it's how we design. If I teach a man fuck a woman's feelings, what kind of father will he be? How will he raise a daughter?
I don't know. My dad, that's kind of how he.
What kind of father?
I don't know about her feelings, but her feelings can't be how you uh evaluate your world, or like you can't go based off your woman's feelings because their feelings are gonna be up and down. They're gonna be up and down. You as a man, you gotta let it out. Stuff's gonna get on your nerves and you're gonna be mad sometimes or happy sometimes. You can't go on that through a journey that she goes on. Yeah, I'll take that. You got it.
Those sounds like you can't think, fuck feeling. What kind of father are you trying to become? It's not even that. It's more just like, how happy are you
But
going to
again,
be?
but that's in the context of a debate. Again, that's in the context of a debate.
If it leaves your
That's
mouth,
it.
it's in your
That's
soul.
contextual.
What?
If it leaves your mouth, it's in your soul. Like if I say fuck men, men are trash, even if it's in the context of a debate, it's in my
No,
soul.
no, but again, like this is context. Like if he's saying fuck your like your feelings don't, you can't, your feelings are not, like what do they say? Facts over feelings,
Yeah.
right?
Feels
Like
are-
that's,
real
yeah,
are
that's,
feels.
and so that's
That's sorry to, but did you see when there was a fight that broke up and the guy and the girl they hit each other and stuff? I saw one clip of that. Yeah, there's a clip on Fresh and Fit and there was a guest and a girl next to him and they got into a physical fight. The guy started hitting the girl started hitting the guy. I think they both hit each
on
other.
there.
On there, yeah, they had to stop filming. But then because I watched Adam Soskhouse and he, who I love, he spoke about it. He had them on a set and he had one of the girls that was in the set. And she felt pretty unsafe in that moment, and Marlon was like, "Fuck your feelings," because she wasn't in any danger. So, what is it?
Myron.
Myron. Okay, fuck his name. But he is.
Feel that in your soul.
So now.
Just because it is what it is.
I think it's just communicating effectively. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you want to communicate quicker and effectively, it's nice to just know the shortcut. Okay, cool. She's not gonna take. How I'll speak to the guys about it. She's gonna react this way if I do it this way. And obviously, if you're on the alpha in a situation, you can kind of force your way. So like you can say fuck your feelings and maybe she'll just shut up. But
Yeah.
are you really resonating? Is she really understanding, or she just shutting up because she
And
doesn't
I
want to speak
actually
up?
Yeah, I agree with him because like they're running the podcast. So if like we have some girl guests in here, we could be all aggro and they might be quiet for that time, but it's like that's not right. It's still not right. So. But I think that the whole sentiment of F your feelings is right though, like in the context of debate. Because I mean your feelings matter, but if we're talking about whether or not men leave relationships more than women, and there's just statistics that I can bring up to back my side of the argument, then you can't say I feel like it's men that leave more because my ex left me or whatever. That doesn't make sense. You know, and I feel like I've seen women make arguments like that, like based off their feelings. And I'm like, that's anecdotal. The word for it is anecdotal because it's based in your experience, which it does have weight. It has weight to it because it is your experience. But in the grand scheme of things, it's like that's not a statistic. Like when you compile statistics, you ask a whole bunch of people and you run a study and stuff. It's like a bunch of levels to it. It's not just you saying, "Oh well, this black guy treated me this way, so all black guys are bad or whatever." Like no, actually, statistically speaking, he's like in the 15% or whatever it is, whatever. People don't care about statistics.
Creating a relationship in that moment.
So when you said the thing about the daughters, that is one of the things where I had to really think. All right, I have to learn how to communicate on that level because it's
First is my dad. Like my dad really, it's not about like he kind of does that with me. I mean, not in like a rude way, but like if I go to my mom, like I always say, I go to my mom if I wanted to cry about something. If I go to my dad, I want a solution. Like I just think men and women communicate in different ways, and we have as women no business policing men and telling them how to communicate.
Why?
because if we did it to you guys, I mean,
But if somebody if said it to us, it would be beneficial.
But again,
but they don't take it like that. Don't get twisted. Like I still will probably want to give the solution, right? But if you understand that what they need is emotional response,
You get your solution out of it.
you can do it in a way
Yeah,
where
it's
you still get the same
be more
solution. I mean, I
strategic.
think it's about just the knowledge of knowing that person is going to receive it like this.
And then that depends on the level of their emotional response, which is why it ends up coming to just fucking feelings, because you have to take all of that out of it for you to really understand what's going on.
But fuck your feelings won't make a woman abide by you and submit to you.
You don't say that. Of course not. Then you go to a place, but
So,
you just don't say fuck your feelings. You can't do it in a different way. Like, hey, oh, listen, take that emotion, put it to the side, pin that. Let's come back to that later.
Just like, that's no offense. I just think you have no business telling them how to run a podcast when they're at 1 million subs. I would never go to an NBA coach and like as someone who's like I don't know what you do to the platform. I don't know how big it is. I know you probably don't have millions.
Yes, I agree with Pearl. Like,
That's what I
we'll
said
end it
earlier.
here, but I feel like if the person is a master at their craft, I will be hesitant to say anything to them about their craft.
Yes.
I wouldn't say anything.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
if they ask me,
That's if they
or
ask.
or if we're in like a conversation and I'm like, hey, Michael
Put it this
Jordan or
way.
whoever,
Put it this way.
I love you and I love your basketball playing, but I notice that when you do your step back, if you step back to the right, you're gonna make it more times. And then they might go, you know what, I never thought about that. Or I did notice that. It's crazy that we both noticed that. Like you have a great mind when it comes to basketball or football or whatever, you know. It's like you could be on the same wavelength with them. But
Nah, I heard that very slim. So
it's
to get to my
not
point,
though.
to get to my point is
Go ahead.
where the sport analyst world. That's kind of like what the idea of what she's talking about. Like the sports analysts critique professional athletes to the core, and a lot of them have never even played the sport before, and that's what kind of like the idea of what she means. Like you're talking to somebody.
But I feel like you could still be good at watching the game and understanding the fundamentals of the game, even though you never played it. Like
I
I could
get
watch
that to a
golf
certain
and
extent.
I could understand the mechanics of golf and go, "Oh, that wasn't a good swing" or whatever, and I could be right or wrong. I feel like it's all like whether or not the performance is good. You know, if they swing the ball weird or whatever, and they hit the ball and it goes really far, it's like it doesn't really matter about the form for that person. But for most people, the form does matter, right? You know. But I feel like just because I don't play doesn't mean that I can't notice that a person is doing something good or bad about the thing. You know, I don't fight. I'm not a UFC fighter, but I could tell if a guy, you know, is gonna get his ass whooped or whatever after the first round. I'm like, oh, I think this guy's about to lose.
But it is, and then you put yourself in reverse situations. Like, okay, would you beat this person if you have to face them in whatever their profession is or whatever?
Most likely no,
Okay,
because they practice that.
that's my whole point.
Yeah, but even like I said earlier, like my dad never played football, and I practiced football. Like I played when he was giving me that advice after the game in high school. I had been playing for like 7 years or whatever, something crazy, bro. Like 'cause I played Pop Warner for 4 years, and then high school up to that point, like so that's like 6, 7 years by that time. I'm like, you never played a down of football, so part of my psyche was saying what you're saying, like. How can you can't tell me anything. You
I'm
play
not saying
tennis.
that. I'm not saying that.
But at the same time, I'm
levels
like,
to that.
I have to respect your opinion because you're watching it from the outside. You're watching me down on the field run, and you're like, oh, this is what I think. I think that it's like I have friends who do music, and they show me their music, but I never know what to say. But I try to give my critiques, like I'm like, "Yeah, that's dope, but I think that you should do this, or that's dope, but
Hey, man, do you think?
I'll be like, I think that maybe the bass should be a little deeper, or maybe your vocals aren't loud enough, or whatever. I'll kind of, give them little critiques like that if they ask for my opinion. But if they just show me the song, then I don't say anything. Like if they go, "Hey, I want you to hear this song," and then they play it. But if they tell me, "I want you to hear this song and tell me what you think of it," then I'll give more. I'll give only what I'm asked of, because that like a lot of people don't want your opinion. They just want to play their thing for you, really, But I think that those people lose out. They lose out. They could be getting.
Because at the
They
same
could be
time,
upgrading
because at the
themselves.
same time, man, if you can't please everybody.
No, you
So,
can't.
how much advice can you really like truly intake?
You can intake it all,
I
but you
mean,
don't have
like,
to implement it all.
okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you can hear them out. I'll hear what you got to say. That doesn't mean I'm going to do what you're saying. Especially if you're giving me advice and I look at your life and you're not following it.
There you go. Okay, let's get there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be super hesitant. But if you're giving me advice that I've heard from other people and they're like, and I know it works, I'm gonna be like, well, I'm doing that. I was already gonna do that, but hearing it from you just validates it more. But that's that, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. This has been the RTG podcast. Please give us a like and subscribe. Help us out. Get us to 100, y'all. Like pros trying to get their channel to 1,000. Just get us to 100. Like, share, subscribe. This is KO.
For Dre, I have this hope.
We out.
Do someplace in fucking Call of Duty.